Note to self, never sleep with your hair in a bun because you will regret it and it will curl all funky like, and then it'll be frizzy for your video that you had been meaning to make for 3 weeks, and then you will feel like not making it anymore, but then you will push through because you care more about making a video than people's opinions of your hair, obviously. Hello friends, welcome. I need to... I'm not comfortable. Get yourselves comfortable, pull up a chair. I assume you're probably already sitting in a chair, so that's not necessary. Welcome. Oh my goodness. You guys, I haven't been outside in 3 weeks now. With a lack of socializing comes new challenges that I hadn't really foreseen. For instance, talking to myself in the mirror. How's it going? Good? That's good. Having hypothetical conversations with someone that isn't there in the shower. For the 1000th time, you did not pick up your shoes off the floor. See, life is difficult when you're an echo chamber of thought and self. I see myself slowly trickling downhill. It's not a very steep curve, but it's you know, it's happening. And I see other people kind of going like this with their mental health, and so I'm no mental health expert, and I want to make that caveat as well. I'm not meaning to downplay coronavirus, and I'm also not meaning to downplay the severity of mental health. But for those of you who are watching who would just like a few little tips, maybe a little bit of an insight into my life, I'm going to be giving you guys some very practical tips just to stay happy, stay on top of things. But without further ado, I say that every time, oh my goodness. What's another word? It's like, without additional and prolonged pontificating, let's jump into that. So my first tip is, now that we're all in social isolation and we are seeing very few people, it's a great opportunity to lessen your chemical consumption. Now what I mean by that is, for instance, no poo method is a great way to not have to use any more chemicals on your hair, but it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for your hair to neutralize, for your pH and oil levels to balance out and to become normal again. And so if you're not seeing anyone, I encourage you to do it. I did make a video on this and I link it in the description below or in a little pop-up here. I can safely say that it worked really, really well for me. It's also a great opportunity to stop wearing makeup. Now, I'm not saying that makeup is a bad thing. I know that some women love makeup, but it is a lot of chemicals, and if you are interested in reducing your chemical consumption, in maybe improving your skin, getting rid of redness and pimples, see, makeup is something that really perpetuates negative cycles where you become dependent on it. Now, if you want to rid yourself of dependence on makeup, now is the perfect opportunity. Okay, so number 2 is to get adequate exercise. Now, this is actually a twofold tip because I do not mean getting exercise on the treadmill or doing an indoor workout or going to the gym if they're open. Oh, Siri. I mean getting outdoors. As I said, blue and green should always be seen. It's like that little idiom. Is it an idiom? And I think there's a lot of truth to it. I've been going out most days and just getting a run in, and now I'm really focused on running and I've been really improving. So that's something that's a real positive for me. And personally, I really love to track my progress with apps like Nike Run or Strava. There's plenty out there. But I also understand that running isn't for everyone. My fiance Josh has just started running and he wasn't always a huge fan.
You like running, Joshua?
No, no.
You do it for me because you love me.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so we've also been doing things like going bushwalking. That's a great option that gets you outdoors. And also something I personally enjoy, particularly during the workday, is skipping. So I skip for maybe 5 minutes at a time just to take a little break from the sedentary aspect of my job. So pick something that you enjoy doing and just go do it. My third practical tip, and this one is very, very important, is to keep a routine. Now that means when you wake up, you don't just stay in your pajamas all day, although I am guilty of that. But it's to get into some clothing. It can be comfortable clothing, but just something that isn't your normal pajamas. And one tip I do have with this actually is to put on shoes that you can't wear in bed. So whether that be joggers or something lace up, it's a really good tip to not be as tempted to just work in bed or to have a nap, because it's the additional barrier to, you have to take your shoes off to get back in bed. So I'll wear runners during the day in the house. Now I understand if you don't wear shoes in your house, that's cool, But maybe buy a pair of runners that you can wear in your house, just like a house pair, because it actually motivates me to want to go on a run as well, or to like be more active and like do more stuff around the house, because I'm like bouncy. I'm like, yay, let's do stuff. So getting changed is one aspect of routine, but also sleep is hugely important. Rather than allowing your sleep schedule to really just go, whoa, to just fall to the wayside, and allowing 9 a.m. to become the new 3 p.m. and 3 p.m. to become the new 12 a.m., which I understand, but I would encourage you to really prioritize your sleep, because keeping a routine is so important in times like this. So my fourth tip, another practical tip, is to do something that will brighten your space. So one thing I did this week is I cleaned my windows, and I haven't done that, not gonna lie, in like probably like 6 months, maybe even longer. It's really bad. And there was all kinds of gunk on the outside, especially, and cobwebs everywhere. So I cleaned that, and it's made me really enjoy being in my space all the more. Something else I've been doing is decluttering. I threw away a lot of things, and that's really made me feel a lot lighter, a lot happier. The less possessions, at least that I have, the more minimal my life is, the happier I am. Whatever it is, do that odd job that you've been putting off, because it will make you feel accomplished, and it'll make you feel as though you've achieved something during the day, rather than just allowing your time to melt into nothingness. Tip number 5 is to take an online course. So one hot tip I have if you're living in New South Wales, Australia, is that TAFE is offering free courses at the moment in business management, in computer skills, all kinds of things. So I'll link it below, but of course there are also platforms like Skillshare and lynda.com and all kinds of things that you can do. I know a lot of artists in particular, so if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I love art. And I follow a lot of artists that are currently putting, for instance, their Procreate brushes on special. They're doing one-on-one training courses at 50% off. And if you have a couple of extra hours per day to be filling in with something, why not take a short course? Also, I just want to point out that no, I am not sponsored by Squarespace or Skillshare, because I don't have enough followers for that. So, tip number 6 is to do something with your hands. See, the thing is, we're so used to just doing everything online. We never write anymore, we just type. We never make anything with our hands anymore. I'm guilty of this as well. I do so much digital illustration rather than traditional illustration and drawing at the moment. So I would love to get back into that. But there is just something about creating that is so soothing and so fulfilling, at least that's my opinion. So I encourage you that if you have a passion for cooking, or if you have a passion for writing, or if you have a passion for art, or if you like gardening, whatever it might be, there's all kinds of things that you can do, and Pinterest is the best place to be when it comes to this. There are so many ideas there. Tip number 7 is to practice kindness, love, and generosity. There is something really powerful about looking beyond yourself, looking out for your neighbor, that takes your mind off your own situation and allows you to experience gratitude for the things that you do have. So something simple that you can very easily do is just send someone a text message to let them know that you're thinking of them, or you could write a card to them and actually physically mail it, because often these days communication is purely digital and it's really nice to receive something in the mail. So maybe grab some cards or some paper and pen and just write a little note out to let people know that you are thinking of them. Okay, so that's all my practical tips, but now I've got some mental health tips. So these are just ways of thinking to be able to cope with the situation better. So the first tip I have, and you would have heard this everywhere, is to practice gratitude. Research shows that practicing gratitude literally rewires the neurons in your brain. The more you practice gratitude, the more you'll be able to see things that you can be grateful for. So when I wake up in the morning, I just think of 3 things, just 3 things to be very grateful for, and often I'll just keep listing them and listing them and listing them. Now, I do this from a Christian perspective, and I thank God for all the things that He's given me. But if that's not your vibe, if that's not your style, that's cool too. Just practicing gratitude is very powerful. This really lends into my next tip, which is to focus on what you can control. Now, really, we cannot control nearly anything about this situation. I cannot control what the government does, what the economy does, the powers that be. I cannot control this virus. What I can control is my attitude towards it and how I behave. I can control my routine, the way that I interact with people, the kindness I practice. And so a lot of the time I'm just so focused on what I can't control, the news headlines, the hypothetical situations that could occur as a result of coronavirus, that I just forget the things I actually can control. And so my routine and my positive habits go out the window, but I encourage you to reverse that. So you focus on the things that you can control, the here and now, and to put aside all the things you can't control. I'm not saying don't read the news. I think it's important to read the news. It's important to keep up to date with what's happening, but don't let it control you, and frame it in a way in which you recognize what you have to be grateful for and just being in the here and now. That's all I'm saying. And my final tip, and it's probably no surprise because you're in my channel and I'm an avid Christian, is to read your Bible. This is straight in the camera. I believe we are living in the last days of this earth's history. I believe in biblical prophecy, and biblical prophecy points directly to the events that are happening in our world at the moment. Natural disasters, the political unrest and the wars, climate change. You look at obviously COVID-19, which is affecting the whole world, and you realize that, you know what, this world is pretty fragile. The things that we put our trust in, whether that's money, whether that's status, whether that's skills, whether that's our relationships or our family, society's structure, the economy, the way that we feed ourselves, those things can be taken away by something we can't even see in an instant. The only thing that is certain, the only thing that transcends that is God, because He created this world and He is coming back to save us. Now, I'm not trying to preach at you. What I'm saying is that my trust and my faith is in Jesus. And so I have peace in this crazy storm. I have peace that I'm going to be okay. And you're going to be okay as well. You can be okay. Jesus will save you. We'll get to be in heaven together. It'll be amazing. The suffering that is happening now cannot compare to the glory that is going to be ahead of us in heaven. And the Bible promises that. That is a verse from Scripture. But you have to make that decision. And take away a practical tip from this. It's to A, invest in your relationship with God if you are a Christian, or B, if you're not a Christian, to adopt a worldview. I think a lot of people are so distracted by the world's structure, by the corporate ladder, by the rat race, by status, by pleasure, and there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but it is so distracting that we lose our values and we lose our why. And I just want to remind you that life is short, life is temporary, and one day it's all going to be taken away from us, whether that is because of coronavirus or whether that's because we die of old age. We can't control anything in this life. The only thing that transcends that is God. Yeah, I don't mean to be all doomsday-ish, but at the end of the day, guys, I really want to see you guys in heaven. I want to see you survive this and to have hope and peace now, and also joy, boundless joy in the future. So if you're interested in that, I encourage you to watch my worldview video. It might even be a series, I'm not entirely sure. It's in the works now, it'll be coming very, very soon. But yeah, subscribe to my channel, like, comment on this video, and yeah, I hope that you'll watch them and that you will engage with them as well. I'm not saying that I'm right about everything. I'd really love to know your opinions and why you hold those opinions. That'd be awesome. Also comment below if you have a YouTube channel that you'd like me to check out. I really want to meet all you guys, and I love it when you comment on my videos. So yeah, I love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you soon.